In this session, we'll be creating a database for our grocery store application. First thing you need to do is download MySQL for Windows. So type this in, open the first link, click on any link here, download it and just install it. So it will install MySQL database as well as the tool called MySQL Workbench. So if you type MySQL Workbench here, you can open this tool. And I have set my password and username to be root, R-O-O-T. And when you click on it, it will just open this editor where you can create new database schema, new tables, insert records, perform queries, and so on. Here I already have this grocery store database, so I'm just going to create a new one just to show you how to do the whole process. So in the create schema, I'll just give some name, GS grocery store, and when I do apply, see internally it is executing SQL queries. So whatever you do here internally, it executes SQL query. So if you don't want to do it through this tool, you can use MySQL command prompt and run these queries as well. I like to do it through UI. So I just go ahead here and on this one, I will just say table, right click, create table, and this will allow me to create new tables. Now, what kind of tables we want in our application? When these kind of projects are started, the team will get together, they will brainstorm what is our table design. For that, they sometimes use a tool called dbdesigner.net, where you can create these kind of database diagrams, where you say, okay, these are my tables, what are the relationship between the tables, foreign key, primary key, etc. You can also do it on a whiteboard, on a note and pen. Okay, that's fine too. So here I'm going to open my mockup and just think about what tables do we need. Well, first table that we need is the product table, which can hold each of these products. Now, what do product have? Well, product have name, the unit. Unit means when you go buy toothpaste, you say 1 or 2 toothpaste. You don't say 5 kg toothpaste. So that's your unit. And then price per unit. When you buy rice, you will say 2 kg, 3 kg. You don't say, okay, I want to buy 5, 7 rice. So that's what the unit is. So there will be like this 3 main columns. So I will go ahead and create this product table with those columns. So products table, here I can create column. Now in any database table, there has to be an ID column which uniquely identifies that particular row. So here there will be a integer product ID, which will be a primary key. This PK means primary key. It shouldn't be a null. So if you try to insert null value, it will fail. It will not allow you. And auto increment. Auto increment means I want database to automatically increment these product IDs. So when I insert a record, I don't need to specify product ID. It will just derive that on its own. The other column you have is of course name. Product name can be up to 45 character. If you want 100 character, you can say 100. And then this is not null as well. Then what else product have? Well, unit. So unit is called unit of measure, and I can just say UOM is varchar, kg, whatever, but I want to put it in a different table. So I want to have a UOM ID basically. Okay. So what will happen is I will have UOM table, which will have UOM name, let's say kg each, and the ID. And when I have products table, in products table, I will just specify that ID. So 2 means each. If it is rice, it will be 1. Okay. So this will be integer here. All right, what else do you want here? All right, let's see. So let me pull this on side. You want price per unit. So price per unit, and that will be double. Double means price can be 4.5, 2.5, whatever, right? So it doesn't have to be whole number. So that's why with a double here, and none of these columns can be null. Okay, apply. See, again, it is creating equivalent SQL query for that. So when you do apply finish, this table is created. You see this table, and these are all the columns. Also, when you click on this icon, it will show you all the rows. So table is empty, so it's not showing any rows to you right now. All right, now let me create a UOM table. So I'll call it UOM. And UOM, as we saw in this particular sheet, is that it is simple. It's UOM name and the ID. So I will just say UOM ID. It is primary key, auto increment, UOM name, not null. That's it. All right. And I will just enter some values in UOM. So here I will go and click here. In MySQL, you can enter things like this. So you'll say 1 means each, 2 means kg. See, you can run this query as well, and it will do the same thing. Now let me go to product table and enter some value. So let's say my first product is toothpaste and my UOM ID is 1. See, each is 1. So that's why I'm entering 1. And let's say it's 30 rupees. So when I run this, it works. But what if someone enters wrong UOM ID? Let's say 5. It worked because the tables doesn't know the relationship between each other. Okay, so we have to set up those relationships using a foreign key. So if you know SQL fundamentals and if you know foreign key, so that's it. That is that purpose, that it will link two tables, the columns from these two tables, and you can do validation. So I don't want this 5 UM to be there because the valid UMs is 1 and 2. So how do I specify that? For that, you go to products, click this second icon, go to foreign keys and define a foreign key here. So this is just a foreign key name. You can put anything. So I will say UMID foreign key. Okay. So for my product table, I want this key and the reference table is UM. So I'm establishing relationship between product table and UM table, and UOM ID in product table maps to UM underscore ID in my reference table. So this is how you set up your foreign key. And when anyone updates product table, make sure you fail the update if the UOM ID is not available in this UOM table. So when you apply, see, it is not working because I already have a wrong product ID. So I'll just a UOM ID. So I'll specify the correct UOM ID here. And now my foreign key is working. Duplicate. Okay, so looks like there is a duplicate key. So okay, let me just say don't save, open everything once again. Second icon, foreign key. I'll just do everything once again. So UMID refers to UM. This UM ID refers to this UM ID is from product table. This UM ID is from UM table. So two different tables. Okay, and it worked. So now I have a foreign key constraint setup. Oh wait, I need to do restrict. Okay, let me just verify this thing real quick. Yeah, see, it is set to restrict. Now see, on delete, I'll just say no action. Now when you go to products table and let's say put any random UM ID, okay, is gonna fail the constraint. Foreign key constraint fail. Yes. This is good because now you have a data validation. This cannot be just any other random number. It has to respect uh, the UOM table. Okay. Now these two tables are done. I want few more tables. So for orders, see, order, this can be one table where you have date, order, customer name, and total. And then this is just a order, but order has a detail. For example, this order 1 2 3 with double, if you go inside that order, it will have detail items, right? It will have order ID, products, the prices, quantities, and total. So maybe I will create one table for this screen, one table for this screen, and they too will be linked with using order ID. Okay, so this order ID here has to be same as this order ID. So how do you do that? Well, first let me create orders table. An orders table will have order ID, which is okay, primary key, auto increment, customer name, of course. If you have long name, you can do 100. Primary key. No, this is not primary key. This cannot be null. Okay, what else? Total maybe, right? Because the total price of the order. Okay, so total. Guess what this is? Well, you guessed it right. I guess double. This cannot be null. And date time. So date time is like when order was placed. So see here, it will be like 3rd November, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m., whatever. And there is a date time column as well. So date time, nice. Okay, not null, yes. So these 4 things are okay here. I will just say apply, table is created. Let me create order details. So order details table. Now order details will have an order ID from orders table. So this will be a foreign key. So this will be a primary key as well. It cannot be null. I will not click auto increment here because this is a foreign key from other table. It will also have a product ID. So think about this screen. So this order has order ID. Customer name you can fetch from the other table by referring to this 1 2 3 ID. But then it has product, price per unit, quantity, and total. Okay. So product will be identified by product ID. So integer, this cannot be null. And you have quantity, like how much you're buying. So I said double because you can buy 2.5 kg of rice as well. So double is my data type. And I will have total price. Total price is, by the way, the price of this quantity. Okay, it's like, it's not this 241, it is 20, 21, etc. Not null. Again double. Okay. Now I need to establish foreign keys. So foreign key, I have order ID foreign key, which is, so I'm creating foreign keys for order details table, which is referring to orders table, and the order ID column from order details table maps to order ID from order table. Okay. And on update, I'm setting it to restrict, and then foreign key product ID. Product ID is also something you need to map in products table. So product ID maps to this product ID and restrict. So now my table is set up. Now if you put, let's say you put any order. So let me just close all this. And in the order table, I'll just add hypothetical order. Let's say you're adding some order here. I bought, let's say, 3,000 rupees of items on 2020, 11, today is 15. Okay, so I got this record created, which has order ID 1. And in the order details table, I'm just gonna put 1, which refers to that ID, and product ID can be what? How many products do we have? We have one product whose ID is also 1. So let's say 1, let's say 1 is what? Toothpaste. Okay, toothpaste. I bought, let's say, 2 toothpaste, and the price is 13 to 2, so 60. By the way, you can skip this column as well because you can always derive this price from other table, but I'm just keeping it here. So this worked, but because of foreign key, if you enter any invalid information, it will not work, such as, let's say I add product ID is 5. 5 product ID is invalid, clearly. So when I run it, the foreign key constraint fails. See, foreign key constraint failed. Very important. Okay. All right. So all my 4 tables are set now. In Workbench, if you go to database reverse engineer, you can actually create the database table diagram as well. So if you click on GS here, see what it did is it created this nice beautiful diagram. Now this diagram you can create first and then you can create tables. That is also possible. The same diagram can be created in dbdesigner.net tool. And the purpose of this diagram is to do brainstorming with your team and kind of come up with the whole schema. This is called like database schema or data model. And data model is an important activity in any software development project. Here, this shows one-to-many relationship. So see, this is 1, this is many. See here, 1 to n, which means when I hover my mouse cursor, see order ID is in a orange color. What it means is one order ID in orders can have multiple records in order details table. So if I place an order, I would have multiple like so toothpaste, rice, etc. So for same order ID, there will be multiple records in order detail table. That's what this is indicating. There could be one-to-one mapping as well, many to one or n to m, different kind of mapping. But this tool is useful, so try to use it as much as you can. So that's all we have for this session. Just to summarize, we created all the tables needed for our application. In the next video session, we are going to work on Python Flask server and access all these tables in the Python code. Okay, so it's gonna be a lot of excitement in that video as well, so make sure you continue watching and make sure you practice. As I'm doing all this thing, pause the video and try to practice and try to do things on your own, because that's the only way you can learn coding and software development. All right, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next session.